All right. Carson, today, okay, so this is my third time recording an episode of Moms Are People Too, but I don't know what order we're gonna do the episodes in, so it's kind of like a fun little grab bag right now. So today we have my dear friend Carson Meyer, who we became close during pandemic days, bonding in the woods of Topanga. And both of us childless at the time, me extremely single in a dark way that I think maybe they were concerned that I would die alone.
And sometimes not so single.
No, like I was single, but very much sleeping with 18 people. So,
I was thinking about this last night, how like we've had such yes, the woods of Topanga, but we literally shared like a phone bill. Like we were
yeah,
on the same land.
yeah.
We just look over you from our perch, our tree house looked onto yours, and how we really got to like see the trajectory of your dating life from like yeah, from being very single to being this amazing mom and this beautiful partnership you're in now. But it was
I think I was sleeping with three different guys in like the 6 months that I lived in the house.
it from us because they had to like walk by, we shared a driveway.
And I'm like, this one's the one that's on ketamine. This one's the one that lives in a fucking
The
tent.
yurt.
You know,
Oh my
this one's the one that's like a sad rock star. Like, I don't know what was happening.
Oh my gosh.
But I
Yeah.
figured it out. And
It
actually,
was
like living with you and Jonathan and Carson, I mean, and sorry, Sophia and Simon was actually, I kept saying this too. I was like, I feel like it's no accident that I'm living amongst these two beautiful couples because I had come from like LA single life where I don't know, you kind of just like adapt this idea that there are no good men and a good couple like doesn't exist when you're just like perpetually so single for how I was. So you guys were very much like an early blueprint for me of like what a healthy, beautiful relationship should be.
I have chills because it's so true. I mean, Jonathan wasn't a dad yet, but Simon
Yeah.
really showed up in fatherhood, our other landmate, like
Yeah,
in such an like in a way that Tyler and Jonathan really do.
totally.
Right? And how like that is uncommon, I think. Like all three of us from very different walks of life and that came together from this land ended up with these like amazing men.
I know. Yeah, he was so like blew my mind of how someone could be a dad. I was like, he's just like
And was like 19, but like soul of 50.
he was so young, and we're like, you're literally not only Julia's dad, but you're all of our dads. Like, none of us know how to do anything. Can you fix everything in our house? Okay, so then cut to now. So I don't know, people, I feel like everyone knows who you are, but I should probably preface it with that you are a doula and an educator, and you just wrote a book called Growing Together, same name of your doula class. What do you call that?
Yeah, my birth circle, prep class, doula class.
Yeah, and I mean, I seriously, there's not one person that is pregnant that I don't say like number one most important thing you have to do is take Carson's class, just because the education that we receive for like whatever pregnancy is so minimal. And honestly, it's like it doesn't exist. You just kind of absorb it from like culture. And the culture is so deeply misinformed and programmed in this way that I think people who think outside the box or kind of like are more intuitive, you bump up against a lot of stuff and it ends up making you feel really bad and really isolated and alienated. And so like to go to a place like what you're holding is just so important. And so there's that. If you're listening and you're pregnant, find Carson immediately. You need her. But I just kind of wanted to have like a sort of open, casual dialogue about just like our own experiences in motherhood because I mean, for you, I think you were planning it a bit more than I was.
Yes.
And you moved to North Carolina because you were like, I refuse to have a child in this
Here.
disgusting LA air and water.
Yeah. We definitely moved with the intention of starting a family
Yeah.
health, which
Yeah.
is weird because all of our family and friends and communities in LA. So not generally recommended to like move away from your entire community, nor is it what I recommend to people.
Yeah.
I always say like it was kind of I think like Lou in some ways pulled us out here
Mhm.
to like the place she wanted to be born.
Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting though, because you ended up finding your own community,
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
North Carolina.
We knew no one here
Yeah.
except somebody I went to middle school with and lost touch with.
Yeah.
But it's funny, and speaking of Topanga, it's a vortex out here. similar to Topanga, but one of my dearest friends was on Paradise, was on our street, and I didn't know her then, but we met out here. And so most of my like core friends out here are all from LA, which is just hilarious.
I love that. I mean, I feel like there has been an exodus from California to North Carolina
Yeah,
for whatever weird reason, because even just being there, I'm like, it's really not similar.
no. But I think for some of the reasons people wanted like like fire, dry, like here there's water and rain and hurricanes and instead of fires. And I think it like it's so different, which is why people are coming here. It
Yeah.
kind of ticks the boxes. But similar to LA and other, like Austin has a lot of culture. And
Mhm.
it's called the Paris of the South. It's like the most
It's
progressive.
called the Paris of the South.
Yes.
I'm dead.
And
It's not like
every
Paris.
restaurant, not at all like Paris. I don't know where it's gotten that saying, but I think it just means it's like the capital of the South that has like the most, I think, like culture and arts and progressive thinking and
Yeah.
yeah, pulls in a lot of young people.
It's so beautiful. I mean, we stayed there for a month and I was kind of like, I felt like we weren't in a position to like restart in the same way because I was still like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life and, everything with Tyler. So it just felt like a little bit too big of a lift for us to just like fully restart. And also like our Astro lines there were not
Good deal.
like they were great for like retreat and family, but not for like building and working, which is what we need right now. And then maybe one day we will go back there when we're ready to like retire. Okay, so I think that there's this misconception around, at least I had no idea what actually it was going to be like to like be a mom, right? Like there's this interesting kind of resurgence of like motherhood being like almost like trendy or something. Like I feel like you go on TikTok and like motherhood is like having a child is like having an accessory or something. Like, do you notice that? Or and then there's this part of it's like, I want a kid because it's like this cute little thing that will like follow me around. But like the practical reality of every day is just so different than the snapshot that you see on the internet.
Yeah. Like anything.
And, I think that we're just in such a different like paradigm than our moms were in.
Yeah.
And it's not that we're not trying to be working mom. Like my mom worked and she also, but it was very much like she was working and gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the gifts of like the post-COVID virtual age. For like both
Yeah.
my husband, it's like we're both stay-at-home parents that full-time work from home
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like, there's I think challenges in that as well. But yeah, I mean, no other generation could you really work from home in this capacity.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the gifts of Zoom life and
Yeah.
technology.
No, it's so true. Like you can kind of like have it all in a weird way. But then like right now I had to like send Asher to the park with the nanny because I'm like he can't be here if I'm like on a call.
Yeah.
Which that's a whole other thing. Like, did you struggle with, I mean, I was a psycho when it came to like getting childcare. Like, I really didn't want it. It was so hard for me to separate, so hard for me to trust. And like, in my mind, my fantasy was like, I'm just gonna be with him forever and I'm gonna be able to like have him on my hip and work. And it's like, no, they're like their own little beings. After they're newborns, you can't just like have them there.
No, it goes so fast. And
Yeah.
that really surprised me too. I was like, "Oh, we don't need that." Like, I can choose my own hours and then we quickly I remember exactly when that shift happened
Yeah.
when the 5 months old, which again was like so much earlier than I thought it would.
Yeah.
But I was in the midst of writing my book. And so I was on these deadlines and
Yeah.
Jonathan was picking up and I remember us just being like, what are we gonna do? It was so hard to find someone. We were so picky about it.
Yeah.
Um, and then like inevitably just having to surrender some of the control of how you would do
Yeah.
things. But yeah, I mean, I work with so many moms, and I think even for moms who don't work, I'm always blown away by this belief that if you don't work, you're not entitled to any child care. Which
Right.
like that's something you see within your friends, but definitely with it's like the working moms when they work can have childcare or like not can, but that's like a norm. But then if you're not working, then like why would you ever hire help? And Yeah, I think it's
Because
just
you
such,
need fucking time to be a person. I mean, that's
yeah.
like moms are people too. It's like, yes, we're like amazing full-time caretakers, can like multitask and balance and like do 20 things at once. But like, if you don't have help, you can't even like put your dishes in the dishwasher.
Yeah. And then the truth is, because you're like, how is this supposed to work by design? Like it's so expensive to have child, like what is, and I think it's just we were in community before.
Yeah,
And so with in community, it's like you're getting your social fix with the children, in the house there. The children are taking care of each other, they're entertaining each other, the grandparents are involved and work. So it just, yeah, I think in a modern world where we're like so isolated as families, it for us is the only way is how.
totally. I know. I think that's like partially why I'm having another kid because I'm just like, this guy needs a friend.
Yeah.
Like we need to like put them together because like I constantly just feel so guilty that Tyler's like he can independent play and I'm like he's lonely, like I don't want him to independent play for more than like a little bit and then now I'm like letting him watch Little Bear. I'm just like because Bia was like Little Bear, it's like a painting and I'm like great.
Yeah, okay, so I'll tell you our trick on that. But what I'll say is my friends who have only children, they're like, yeah, like I think having two is really hard in the beginning, obviously, but then it gets so much easier. Where like my friends who are only children who are like 6 and 7, they're like, they regret it, because they're
Yeah.
like, we wish we would have done the hard work up front so that now there's a playmate. Whereas now at like 7, 8, like I'm still the one that's the playmate as they do
Yeah.
become more independent. But what I'll say about the little bear thing, do you have a Tony box?
No, what's that?
Oh my gosh. Ash might be a little bit. I feel like Lou didn't get into it until more recently, but it's an audio player.
Oh.
But they have these toys that have some sort of like magnet, whatever card in them, but and it just you stick it on top of
Oh,
his.
I've seen this.
Yeah. And it plays. And so Lou has like Peppa the Pig and Peter Rabbit and it's books, but also shows, but no screen. But it
Got it.
captivates them in a similar way, but it activates their imagination.
It projects the book, right?
No, no, it's
Oh,
just
it's
audio.
just audio. Oh, because I saw one that's like exactly what you're saying, but it like projects the page of the book when it's reading it.
Oh, yeah, no, this is just listening.
Hmm.
Stories where she's like using her imagination, but I feel like it has somewhat of the same ability to captivate like a show, but
I
without the
need
screen.
that because I feel like like my one like bad parenting thing. Like he's never touched a phone, he's never eaten sugar, he's never like I'm like he's so healthy by like one like bad like my own judgment of bad parenting. I'm not putting this on anyone else's that I'm like he's like da, 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 and I'm like little bear. I'm just like I put it on so much.
I know. We've had times where, I mean, we try and stick with it because it's one of those things that's such a slippery slope. Like once you do it, then you're like, where do I draw the line? Ours,
Yeah.
when she's sick,
Yeah.
because it's just hard, I think it like helps her kind of in a way like numb out too to how
Yeah.
she's feeling. And so we do that. Sometimes if we're traveling, we'll put on a show. And
Yeah.
now that she's like 2.5, we do or like almost 3. Like every few weeks we'll be like, you can watch a little like what's it, Daniel the Tiger is so sweet. I'm like,
Yeah.
but I know I was definitely like never. But I
Yeah.
also and I'll say I think there's a difference between like we don't even own an iPad,
Yeah.
and like there's I think such a difference between like on the family TV, and we sit
The
there
group
together.
activity.
Yeah, a group activity, or I'm doing my own thing, but like she's not just like on like YouTube watching like thing after thing in this world or like at a restaurant doing it. And those were kind of our lines is like we want and Dr. Becky talks about this, which I think is so interesting. She's like it's less about the screens themselves. Like obviously at a really young age they have their issues, but like as kids get older, I mean, we all watch shows
Yeah.
growing up. It's
Yeah.
like I don't think that it's like the show itself that's inherently bad if it's a sweet show, but it's the inability to tolerate discomfort that
Mm.
we're breeding in our children. And
Mm.
so that's what Jonathan and I really check ourselves with is like if she's having a meltdown, obviously the first thing we want to do is like, do you want to watch a show so that
Yeah.
you can stop screaming? But
Yeah.
that's where it's a problem, right? It's like then we're doing what we as adults do, right? When we're anxious, we numb out on our phone.
Yeah.
So like we'd really try and make it a situation where it's like if we're going to make that exception, if we're going to kind of allow that time, it's not as a bribe to get her to stop like feeling and
Yeah.
expressing, and that we like work on getting through the emotion first.
Yeah, that's making me feel better because I never give it to him for that reason.
Yeah, and I think
I'm just
that's like
more like, I have to clean the kitchen. I want
yeah,
you to be in this room with me. And like, I'll start with magnetiles. I'll start with that kind of stuff. And then I think he just like, he's also like really social. And I think he looks at like Little Bear, like those are his friends.
his friends.
Like the second that like the duck, and then he like knows them. You
Yeah.
know, so I'm like, okay, like he's having fun. It's not like I'm like, quiet down and stop crying. Like, also, I'm just the luckiest because Asher's like not a meltdown child. Like, he really only has meltdowns if he's really hungry. So I'm just lucky that that I've never had to really like do anything
Yeah.
along those lines.
So like
But
sometimes those come, I mean, he may never be like that, but like they come a little like late, as they get a little older and like the boundary pushing
yeah,
happens,
oh,
where they feel the boundary of the world more.
and like asserting their will.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, he was carrying around the biggest piece of furniture. He was like, "There, I have this like little table that's like made of wicker, but it's like bigger than him." And he was carrying it around. He was like, "I'm like, you're going to hurt yourself," and like I had to take it away, and he was getting so angry. But I'm just like, but I figured out this is my trick when it comes to taking things away. I go, "Okay, it's time to say goodbye to the table." And then I'm like, okay, bye. And I make him like make it a game. And
And
then
he
he
loves it.
thinks it's fun. And then he's
Yeah.
like, bye. And I'm like, okay. And then just replace with something else that's not gonna like impale him,
Or like the little songs.
yeah.
Yeah. Or like in our music class, say like bye bye instruments. And she's like, oh,
Yeah. Oh,
love
sing
that.
transitions are a really big thing for kids. Like if you sing instructions, they like love it.
Yeah.
I don't
For
know
sure.
what the science of that is, but I noticed that very early on. It's like, we're getting in the car now, car now. And then he's just like, it's not dramatic. It's like something is just
Can
pleasant.
be when it's just that joyous and
Yeah.
jolly.
Yeah, I guess if someone was singing me into a transition, I would like it too. I
Totally.
totally want to say I think the thing with the screens is so true too. Like even for us, there's such a difference between like doom scrolling on your phone and having it like this close to your face versus watching a narrative television show, which it does feel, even though it is like numbing out in some way, it's also like, yeah, you're following a story. It's almost like a creative act because your mind is engaged with it, as opposed to like you step away from your phone, you're like, I just broke my brain. It just like zapped my fucking third eye. Like I can feel when I'm in my phone that like my spiritual center is getting attacked. I know that sounds crazy, but I can really feel it.
Yeah,
Like it's like it like literally sucks an energy out of my head. And then
totally.
I'm like, who am I in this world? Everything's horrible. Like, and even if you've tried to keep your algorithm kind of mellow, the darkness creeps in.
I know. I'm on a big unfollow kick.
Oh, I love that.
And
I
it's not personal. Like it's not like I don't like this person. I'm just like, yeah, I think like the less you can absorb, the the better.
I need
And
to
it really
stop going into
really is
conspiracy
not
theories.
personal. Like I'm just like, oh, this is gonna help me just actually have a better relationship with people in my life. It's like we're not
Yeah.
also intended to like hear everyone's inner dialogue all the time.
And also, like, I'm sorry, but like people with their social media is just it's unhinged. Like it really is unhinged.
Yeah.
Not everyone is responsible enough to have such a tool.
Yeah.
Like,
And it is interesting. It's like I feel like you and I as like Scorpios and like we're so good at like get in real life, like getting into things, debating things, like having conversations on topics, and like that's part of life. It's part
yeah.
of relationships and friendships, and like, but at the core of it, we're like, oh, we like know each other and love each other and like understand our intention and learn from each other. But like that doesn't really exist in the fabric of social media. Even if you know the person, it's like politically, and obviously I know we've spoken so much about this with like in the COVID era and stuff like that, but in ways that would never happen face to face.
Hmm.
People just are like, feel like they're like an ambassador of like a certain topic without the nuance. And I think it just creates, and I get sometimes it's informing and activism. Like there's all these, again, like good reasons for maybe to express themselves in that way. But it's the least interested like of the use of social media for me. And that's not because I don't care about these topics. I just don't think it's effective. And I think it's proven to be actually the complete opposite over the past nearly decade, specifically around COVID. Like nothing was achieved through that, like infighting. It just like separated families and created division, and that's like what the platform wants. Like it boosts engagement too, that level of drama.
Well, it's also just like this platform was designed to like share photos
Yeah. Yeah.
and like just have a good time and like
And
maybe
inspire. And like I think there's
yeah, like silly videos, connection, whatever, stories. Like I can distinctly remember 2019 versus 2021 on Instagram, and it was a two different worlds. And the thing is that that's not what we came there for, right? It's like different if you're like going to Substack or you're going to a
I
news.
was gonna say Substack is so great because I think it allows people a longer form to
Yeah.
give more context.
Yeah. And also to look for what you're looking for. Like, I think the biggest issue that I faced with Instagram is like people that I thought were aligned with me or were, we were all friends. All of a sudden, we're in different pockets, right? And so now we're fighting with people that we love in
Yeah,
this
you're like, I just want to see my great aunt's poodle, Like I don't want to know her political views or whatever.
at all, right? Like,
Yeah.
I had this experience even just yesterday where someone that is my friend, my brother's friend, who was like a brother to me for many years, suddenly during COVID era, and specifically when I like talk about RFK, like trolls me constantly and like says like not nice things. Like very like bitchy, right? Is like a bitchy gay. Uninformed as well, which like don't even get me started on the uninformed part of it. And by the way, being a mom and dealing with this makes me hate it even more because I'm like, this is the worst use of my time. Like I have a child, like I just
Oh my gosh, I know, right? Totally
like
changes it.
it totally changes it. Whereas before I could like get into it and I'm like, then I look over and I see Asher and I'm like, well, this is what really matters. Like this fucking person I don't give a shit about, but I can't help myself at the same time. So, anyways, this person I have all these issues with post-COVID, whatever. And then his father died. And so of course I'm like, I'm not the one who's starting the fight. So I'm
Yeah.
like mad at him. I'm just like, of course I'm gonna like reach out to him and say something after his father died. And he writes back like, thank you so much for this beautiful message and all this stuff. And I just thought to myself, it's such a shame that we ever had any type of like weird shit, like any aggression or any of that, because like this is the truth of life, right? Like
Yeah.
we are friends. We have been family since this kid was 21 years old. And we
Yeah.
almost weren't friends because he's trolling me so hard. And if I was a different person, I probably would have been like, fuck you, you little asshole. But I
Yeah.
constantly try to argue with information, which is also like
Yeah.
falls on deaf ears. Nobody cares is the other
And
thing.
this is what I mean too. This is why I actually unfollow people
Yeah.
is to preserve a relationship with them. And it's actually to help my self-control too, because I have that Scorpio tendency as well, and I have
Yeah.
fallen um into that trap. We all have. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, damn it, like why did I do that? Like I'm smarter than that. Like, why did I fall into the trap of like responding to this,
Yeah.
or giving my 2 cents into it? Because it's pointless.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, and so there's some people I'm like, I genuinely love this person and I love
Yeah.
seeing them out. I love hanging out with them at I don't go to parties anymore, but if I went to a
If I was a party person.
if I went to a party ever again, I'm sure I would love having a conversation with them and with like new friends that I too. It's so nice like make mom friends in like music class and like different places and be like, "Oh, this is so nice that we can like connect over shared things and not have to like know everybody's like voting policy or whatever." And I think that yeah, that was one of our interests in moving actually. But yeah, I think to me to unfollow people is actually it's like it seems aggressive, but it's actually like a way of love of being like, I want to continue to be able to meet somewhere. And if I keep getting bombarded with the dumbass things you're saying, I'm gonna have a harder
I
time
don't
doing
blame
that.
you. Yeah,
So
totally.
I'm just gonna like help me help our friendship.
How do you navigate, like, I find myself having an interesting time navigating sort of like the different, it's not necessarily political, although like these things have become political in our era, but I don't think that they really like should be in like the objective reality. But how do you navigate, like you said, like me making friends in music class or whatever, and having different, I know you personally, so I kind of feel like I know how you do some of these things, but I'm curious how you talk about this publicly of how when you interface with a mom or a parent or whatever who kind of just raises their child differently, even if it's as simple as like they send their kid to daycare and you don't, or whatever. Like how
This
I,
came Yeah, I think I know what your question
yeah,
is, but like this
yeah,
came up in so I have my joined together community, which is just amazing. You're
yeah.
in it. Even though you're not in the mega chat. I don't
You
know
need to
why.
send me the invite.
I know. It's in the original chat, but I'll
Okay,
send
I
it.
need to learn how to use WhatsApp, is what I meant.
But when you join the join together
Yeah,
community, you get access to our WhatsApp group, which is just wonderful and it's just ongoing support and community. But this came up in the group. Um, just one of the moms was feeling really isolated and going through a hard time and I'm really like one of the things I'm so proud of in this community is like I mean there's 150 moms who are active on it so like yeah everybody's gonna have different views and perspectives.
of
Uh,
course.
I'm sure there's a common thread that like gravitated them towards me, but everyone's so different and there's just like such a love and compassion for all of the different ways within it. But
Mhm.
one of the moms was saying how she has a really like I was like are there like groups or communities like could you make some mom friends locally like I know our group is so amazing and supportive but like it sounds like you could just really what we were talking about like be able to like let your kid run free while you and some friends just like have tea
Oh, there's
among
nothing
kids. Like
better.
there's the best feeling ever like when you're at the depths of like mom hell like just getting with other moms and like watching your kids enjoy while you guys are together it's like feels like home and so I was kind of like saying like is there something you could find out there and she was like where there's a toddler like group that we came across but all of the parents feed the kids like really unhealthy snacks so I couldn't do that and then there's differences there and it made me really think about that.
Yeah.
I saw how for her, I could like kind of feel that for her, it was just the desire to be like in continuity was so strong that it was blocking her from having any friendships.
Mm.
What I guess what I shared was I was like, look, I have certain hard lines. Like I think it's moral values and like familial values, like all these things are really important. So it's not, and you know me, I'm so picky and discerning with friends. Like I have so many friends. I'm so like I love my girlfriends, but again, Scorpio theme, like I'm not just friends with anyone. Like I'm like you really have to show me why you're worthy of like that time and love.
So glad I passed the test.
You pass pretty quickly, but like no, my friends know that. Like I'm very like, and I'm a really loyal friend when I am one. So
Yeah.
I wasn't in any way being like, oh, I'll just be friends with anyone.
Yeah.
And I wrote a Substack on friendship recently, when like the reflection of it that yeah, just made me think of all that. So really big on that. Also, I too crave a perfect alignment, and I love agreeing. Like I don't like disagreeing. Like I wish that I could have that everywhere, where everyone just felt the same. That would just make life so easy.
Yeah.
And I do think again, like in our social media, just our culture, we have created these like just like our algorithm where we only want to exist within the things we agree with
Yeah.
to a fault. And like we forget that human connection is just as healthy and like research shows the blue zones it's not so much about sometimes what's eaten but how the meals are shared
Right.
and the other humans and so I was sharing that I was like and for me that's been one of the biggest things I've let go of. I'm a nutrition consultant. I'm very passionate about food but we have a lot of leniency what do I want to say with my daughter
Yeah.
like we're very with food like we don't create a complex around it for her
Yeah.
and cooks all of her meals. She's getting like the best of the best at home. And then she eats like so many healthy-ish, sugary things. We go to the farmer's market. She has a Danish. She gets ice cream at the ice cream shop. Like we really enjoy that. And
Yeah.
if there's another kid eating some crap and wants to share their lunch, I'm not going to pull that out of her hand.
Totally.
I really let her. And when they're younger, it's so much easier to control that. And I think there's value in that. But as she's older, um, my point being, and I'm going on a tangent, is I think that we have to be able to like feel into somebody's heart and intention
Yes.
and find a soul connection with other women in our lives and
Mhm.
then see past some of, oh, you know, Stephanie is letting Asher watch what Little Bear or whatever it is. It's like, and seeing past these like parenting
A bad
approaches.
mom.
Stephanie's a terrible mom who's never allowed to play with Asher. No, but it's like if those things matter to a parent, you know, and like
Yeah.
they can find a
Or like
million
if a parent's
reasons
like, my kid doesn't watch TV, then I'll be like, okay, they're not gonna watch TV when your
when
kid's
you're
older.
over. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I think there's just like these micro things that we really need to let go of in order to have the healthier thing. Ultimately, what's way more healthy than a kid that never watches TV is a kid with friends.
Totally.
I don't have the data to back that up, but I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, I will bet you hard stop that
Yeah,
it's more damaging to keep your kids from friendship than let your kid watch some TV,
totally.
right? And yeah, so I think like it's about finding your line, but also really being able to see like if this is a good person who's a good friend and I connect with, we can celebrate the fact that we do this really differently.
And we don't have to be afraid to have those conversations. Like for me, I think that something that the past few years has taught me is that my almost like weird shadow of like the Libra placements in my chart has made me want to avoid confrontation. Or confrontation is even such a strong word. It's just dialogue, period, right? But the reality is that there's something really beautiful in the friction because if you can bravely just kind of and lovingly, obviously, discuss the differences, then you soften, someone learns something, vice versa. Like we live in this echo chamber reality and it filters down through everything, including what we're talking about, and it's not good for anyone. And it reminds me too something you're saying of how well, something that drives me insane in the world of parenting is how like everything is so prescriptive.
Yeah.
So, like one of my good friends having a baby right now, and you know, and he's been asking me like a gajillion questions, right? And he's like, what do you think about co-sleeping? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? And then I'm like, well, I can send you like hundreds of resources for any of these things that you're looking for because everyone has an opinion. Everyone has a fucking book. Everyone's an expert. Like that is a part of this reality that also is like, I think so overwhelming to me. It's almost like too much data and something that we need to do individually, in my opinion. I'm not like a scientist or anything, but in my opinion, is connect with our intuition as parents and move from that space. And I think if we were all able to do that a little bit more, then maybe there wouldn't be so much rigidity within community because half the things that people are doing as parents is because of, God bless you. We love a muted sneeze. Half the things that people are doing and holding such hard lines on with parenting is because somebody else told them to do that, not necessarily because it's how they feel. And yeah, I just think we're so divorced from intuition as individuals that it then trickles into parenting. And it's such a shame because parenting is so instinctual.
Yeah. Well, that's what my book's really about, right? It's like, especially around birth. I think people end up being like dissatisfied with their birth if they try and do what they think is right from someone else.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not a birth educator, but someone actually the other day asked me, they were like, because I was telling them about home birth, and then they were like, are you a birth educator? You really sound like it. And I'm like, no, I'm just really passionate about you listening to yourself because that's where it starts. Like if you enter your parenting journey in a place of separation from your own instincts and always outsourcing it to the doctor, the midwife, whoever it is, then that is going to be something that you're constantly behind the eight ball on when it comes to raising your kid because
Yeah. Well,
I'm
also, I mean, I always say this too, but like home birth and just birth in general is like the OG rabbit hole. And so
Mhm.
like everybody who's like I don't say I'm saying conspiracy theories in like a non-derogatory sense, but
I
like
take ownership of my love.
yeah, I mean I'm just like
No, this is a judgment
anybody
free
who's
zone.
like asking questions or not turning externally for like all of the answers I've that but hasn't done it through birth yet. I'm like this is for a lot of people it's like the last portal that they uncover and then for many,
Mm,
right, it's the introductory portal, but I do think it's a really important part of the matrix.
that's so interesting.
Yeah, it is for me. I think that like we can't really fully talk about birth or like understand, yeah, like our culture is approach to birth without allowing birth to take us, I mean, as a metaphor for everything we explore in life.
Yeah, I would love you for you to talk more about that because that's such a big statement that you just made, but it is so true. It's like if we don't unwind the way that we come into this world as a system of control,
Yeah.
then yeah, everything else is just layered on top of that.
Yeah. And Michelle Odent, who's this very well-regarded French obstetrician who wrote a bunch of amazing books on natural birth. He says to change the world, we first must change the way babies are being born.
Mm.
And I think
Gotcha.
that's different definitions, different people, but for me, that always kind of meant exactly that. It's like, yeah, the way that someone is born has such a big impact on their life and is a, for the mother too, not just for the baby,
Yeah.
is an indoctrination within itself. And there's a great book called Birth as an American Rite of Passage that
Mm,
talks about this
mm.
and how, yeah, we're really kind of like doing a lot of these ritualistic things in a culture that lacks more traditional rituals. Um, yeah, as it becomes ritual. Like the ultrasound is ritual, the
Yep.
vaginal exam is ritual. And in a culture that's void of these rituals in the real sense of the term, we replace them for technology and
Yes.
obsession with, trying to grasp and understand and know, air quotes. Um,
Me and Danny were just talking about this in our last episode of We Have Notes. We were just talking about how the technological takeover of well-being is
yeah.
like part of the divorce from someone's ability to understand how to truly be well. If everything is able to be a metric,
Mhm.
then how do you measure that internally without like an aura ring? Right? Like how
Yeah.
do you know you need to go for a walk if technology isn't telling you
Yeah, or your sleep isn't great.
or you're not feeling well or whatever it is.
Yeah, I really never got on the Oura Ring thing. And I think for my new mom clients, I'm like, get flush that thing down the toilet because there's nothing more stressful than being a new mom who
Yeah.
knows they're exhausted. And then
Yeah.
like an Oura Ring being like, you're gonna die, you're not sleeping enough. You're like, I know, you know,
I just have such a
not
weird resistance
helpful.
to any technology like on my body. Like when I see people with Apple Watches, I'm like, it's burning a hole
But the
in
Apple
my
Watch is a real trigger point for me.
I'm so triggered too.
I get really triggered. Again, like love so many people with Apple Watches, like really
Yeah.
cool Apple Watch owners in my life. Hold on.
What is it? Lou?
Being confiscated from, yeah, it was crying for me, but
Oh,
that's taking.
oh, okay. We won't go too much longer.
It's okay.
Um, I'm wondering, I mean, I know this is your world and your work, so it might be kind of a difficult question to answer because well, I'll ask it. So, do you feel like you're noticing more of like an awakening around the shift in people realizing that birth is an indoctrination and like more questions being asked, more autonomy being desired? Like maybe it's because now I'm in the world, so I notice it more, but I feel like even the people who are more, let's just say like allopathic in their approach to life, I feel like they're even being like, maybe I don't want my kid washed with chemicals when they come out, or, and that is almost like you're saying, it's the first point of contention when it comes to, oh, I can do this my own way as a mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's really a gateway. I think it's hard for me to answer because I am so in the world and
Yeah,
so I see so much of it and it's layered. I think that like there's certain layers that people are ready and willing to, and even ourselves, like
yeah,
to meet, and like everyone's kind of at like willing to kind of strip back a certain amount of the curtain. That's
yeah.
just a little bit of it, which is great. Sometimes it's all of
Myself,
it.
like my friend is free birthing right now, and I'm just kind of like, are you sure that's okay? Like, I fully believe in your power and your autonomy and all of that, but I'm also like, don't we come from like thousands of years of birth keepers for a reason?
Yeah, the free birth world is fascinating.
It's very intense. And she's even like, well, now I have to prepare if my baby's born still, and what if it comes out mangled? And I'm like, oh my God, like this is too much. Like all you needed to do was get one ultrasound, you know what I mean? Like
But
just the
there,
one.
that's not actually true though, because one ultrasound doesn't guarantee anything,
I know.
right? And so I think that's the part of there's a lot of like, I guess around the free birth, like things I disagree with.
Yeah.
Um, but the ultrasound thing is one I struggle with because obviously there are certain things we can learn through ultrasound. And I've known a lot of people who have did all the ultrasounds and more and come to discover I
So
got
do
like
they.
Hi, everybody.
He's like been scratching at the door for the past 45 minutes.
Hold on.
I put your pencils in the other room.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, no, no, no. Don't start talking.
Oh,
Okay.
love you all.
Gemini, bye bye. Love you.
Hey, I miss you.
Okay. The
Yeah, I mean,
Gemini.
I think that there's a false sense of security that we try and certainty that we try and get from these technologies
Yeah,
again. And yes, sometimes we can rule certain things out, but yeah, I've known a lot of people who have done all the ultrasounds and then to their surprise, there's something that arises either at birth and of course can be later too. It doesn't
yeah,
guarantee a lifelong healthy child. Nothing does. And yeah, same with a lot of the testing. And on the other side, like I've seen it, the ultrasounds show an issue where there's not one at all.
right. It
So
really does
that's
come
why,
down to just this like desire for a sense of surety.
yeah. Yeah, we're
Uh,
so comfortable
yeah.
sitting in the unknown.
Is there anything that, because I know like you're such a strong ideological person, and
I love that.
no,
What was that?
because I have this too internally where I have these like things that I just feel so righteous about, but I'm constantly having to check them because I feel like if I get too righteous, then I'm going to get aggressively humbled by the next thing that happens to me.
Yeah.
I want to know like when it comes to your experiencing with parenting, what are some of those things where you were like, these are hard lines, like with the screen thing or whatever, the that kind of surprised you and you had to be more flexible with because that is a big wisdom of just having a child is like
Oh my gosh. Oh,
flexibility and flow and being open to learning what they really need is a very interesting journey.
yeah. And that's like what parenting is. It's just a constant like 180 of things that you thought, and then actually meeting your child where they're at is so beautiful and to remember to parent from the place of like of presence
Yeah.
and flexibility. And that doesn't mean just like throw the baby out with the bathwater, no pun intended, on things that are important to you, but to like meet your child with where they're at and to actually see this being with their own needs and where, things are flowing as moment to moment.
Yeah.
One that came up recently, I was like very adamant that we would always homeschool, and like never send our daughter to school, and like really, really, we didn't really like have a full plan yet because she was so young, but we were also even like maybe we won't even do anything formal, like they're like the Danish approach until she's like 6 or 7.
Yeah. I'm like, that's where I am.
Yeah, and I am, and that's another thing I want to remind listeners too. It's like just because something changes doesn't mean all of a sudden she's in a public classroom with 40 kids at 2.5 years old, right? It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be like the co-sleeping or the sleep training, or whatever. Like you can find balance in the middle of certain things, but yeah, I was just like, I was all of her friends were starting to think about school around and talk about it and started and it was this weird feeling. And I think what came up for me that I was noticing was I had a lot of conflict around something that I was really excited about.
Mhm.
Right. And so I was like, why do I feel inner conflict about something I'm very certain like we're doing? And all
Mhm.
of a sudden I was like, because it didn't feel actually authentic to what the need was
Right.
in the moment. It was my attachment to what I thought was the best thing. And then one of my dear friends, and she was a client of mine, and yeah, she's wonderful. And we were talking about it, and we have a lot of similar parenting approaches, and our daughters are around the same age. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, like you have to go tour like 10 schools, not because you need to go put her in them, but like you're gonna learn, maybe it'll inform your homeschooling thing, but just go be curious, like go check it out." And lo and behold, like the first school we looked at, which is 5 kids, like it's
Yeah.
in a backyard, like it is
Yeah.
homeschool, but it's just not me doing it. And
Right.
yes, it's a stranger and like the other people, and it was like just it automatically felt like a real exhale. And so to meet, yeah, like her need, like you're saying, like, actually she's so social and her desire and our needs, and realize that there was a way for like both of those to be met with what was different than what was projected. And I think parenthood is just a constant journey of that all the time.
Yeah, I know. I see that for him too. I'm like, I know he's gonna want to go to some type of like pod or something.
Yeah.
I got invited now, but I'm like, to me that feels too young.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it can't be
Like,
like almost 3 for me to feel like it's the right thing.
yeah.
Um, Last thing. Okay, so for me, like the biggest struggle of motherhood really is just that like before this, I was like a self-care queen.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
And like I felt like I really needed all that stuff to like be okay. Like I felt like if I didn't journal and I didn't exercise and I didn't take my supplements and I didn't do my meditations and my breath work, I mean, I was on some fucking shit when it comes to like the
Yeah.
dial of myself. And now I don't do any of those things. Like I go to like a one yoga class a week and like I strength train twice a week and like I meditate for 2 minutes like in the car when he's like asleep. Like everything has just shifted so dramatically. So it's really been about finding little moments to have mindfulness and to tap in deeper than it is about creating like a large amount of space for that. And that's something that having help has really given me is just even just the ability to like, clean the kitchen without someone running around and chasing and me like, please don't stab yourself with the knives in the dishwasher, or whatever. Like just those moments of quiet to me are the most nourishing. Whereas before
Like a podcast while you clean, like in an empty house is, yeah.
yeah, like that is just like luxury beyond luxury. So is there stuff like that for you where it's like, oh, this has shifted dramatically and I've had to adapt in ways that yeah, just I
You
never
mean
knew.
like with self-care or just like,
Self-care or anything that was like your thing before that you felt like you needed or like you were just so attuned with that then suddenly
it's not there anymore?
like I had to adjust, right? Like you can't just go from like meditating 20 minutes a day and doing breath work to suddenly having nothing. Like it does fuck up your system. And so I've had to learn like, okay, actually it's just 5 minutes of like inner awareness that actually is all that I need.
Yeah.
And some days I need more and I'm crazy and I'm a bitch or whatever, but it's all that coming back to myself.
And that's kind of why I created Sea and the Moon. I was way before I was a mom, but I've always been I've always been really into self-care and all the treatments and all the things, but I've
Yeah.
also been really good lazy self-care.
Yeah.
Even before motherhood, like I'm like, do I have to do all the steps? Like, but it's like as you're talking about, it reminds me of Seeing the Moon because like sometimes those are the moments for me is like to have just to scrub. Like it doesn't have to be like
Totally.
full, like going to like the spa and getting the full scrub down and then this and the massage. It's like, yeah, like you being able to bring that to myself in a 2-minute shower in a, you know, we both love our facial massage
I need
routines
to
and
get back
like
to it. Look
that.
at my jowls.
I know. I can't
By the
do.
way, in Glow, okay, we do Anastasia Beauty Facial, which I have had no time for. But
Well, I
inside,
do it. This is my bad mom thing is I make Lou do it with me.
oh, I love
And
that.
so yeah, the best is Lou walks around going, "Hello, my dear girls." Says that to everyone, and they're like, "Where did she learn that?" I'm like, "I have no idea." And she'll literally like be like
Russian
talking
girl.
about like the sternocleidomastoid, and
Wait, I'm obsessed with that. Remember we were shopping in Cross Creek and Lou just looked at a sweater and she goes, Oy vey.
oy vey, that was like her first word, oy vey, and oh my gosh.
I love that so much. Oh, your scrub is amazing and it's so true. Like I think it was like I went like 2 months without putting any lotion on my body. And then I went to go see my friend and she was like, Your skin used to be like the softest skin I've ever felt. And why is it like, why are you like a lizard now? And I'm like,
Oh,
because
no.
I just don't have the time to like moisturize. Like as like silly as that is. So I
Yeah.
think as he gets older, I'm trying to cultivate like those spaces for myself because I realize like I don't want to just turn to like dust.
Yeah. And like bringing him into it. I mean, that's like, again, like Lou, which is kind of annoying because like our house will be covered in oil and my oil is very expensive, but I have a endless supply of it so we can go through it quicker
Yeah.
than my customers can. But like she loves giving herself a Sea in the Moon oil massage. So it's like when I'm doing it,
That's so
she
cute.
does it. She likes to massage my feet. I'm like, great, best mom hack ever. Teach your kid to give a massage. Like she thinks it's the most fun thing ever.
That's amazing.
Um, and then yeah, like the one thing that I really noticed a difference in feeling good, but it's still hard for me to motivate. And I feel like it's also really easy to use motherhood as an excuse. Like I'm I do this all the time. We're like, I can't work out. I'm a mom. And it's like my husband's home, the babysitter's there. Like how could I ever do this? I'm like, no work to do.
Well, because you have nothing to do and you're like, I have nothing to do. It's
Yeah, I just need to do nothing. Like I think I just need, which is valid as a mom, you're just like if I sit and stare at the ceiling, like this would be the best use of my time right now.
yeah.
Um,
It's so true.
but yeah, and the working out, which is really hard for me to motivate to. Like I also realize it's actually like fun, like to do it with her, and she loves it, and like is another thing that is hilarious. Like we do a workout video and she totally is like memorized. She'll pick up the things and say them
So
like
fun.
the group stuff like out in the world and I'm like, "Oh, sorry." Lou's like talking about her abs and stuff. But but because
Obsessed with
like we when we don't have time or when we are, maybe don't have the help or partners who work from home with flexibility, I think there's a lot of these practices that we can bring them in on that makes it because sometimes you also I don't know, I feel like guilty doing anything for myself alone.
That's so real.
And it actually sometimes allows my husband to have time if Lou and I go and work out or
Yeah.
if Lou and I go and do a massage. And that's not like I'm saying that all of my self-care time is with her. I of course carve out time for just me, but that's been like a fun thing as she's gotten older and I hope it rubs off on her.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler will take Asher to the gym, and I walked into the gym the other day, and Asher was doing push-ups.
Oh, so
And yeah,
cute.
like you're right. They love to be a part of all the things.
Yeah.
So kind of knowing what they can be a part of, and also knowing what you do just need to separate and do for yourself. To me,
Yeah.
that is the most challenging aspect of all of this. Is like I've driven away to go to a yoga class many times and just been like, I feel so bad.
Yeah.
And he's with his dad. It's not like, it's not like there's nothing bad happening. It's just my own sense of like, yeah, attachment.
And for me, I find it's an expensive answer, but it's like helpful to pay for something and do it out of the house.
Yeah, it is.
Like that's when I actually stick with it.
I mean, leaving the house in general, to do anything and just have your little time. I think that is because you mentioned earlier, like if I ever go to a party again, and like I think about that too, like I never do any of the things I used to do like socially, and to actually make the effort to like get someone to watch Asher in the night and go do something is like something that we're really struggling with. I mean, not because we're like we want to, it's because we're like we should force ourselves to go. Like the other day we went to a birthday party in the city and we went to dinner and it was so nice. But then, like, by the end of it, we're like, we got to go get our little guy. Like, you have to balance it with having a life and a relationship and all of that stuff. But when you just love being a part of a family, it is an extra effort to remember because there's like there's your relationship, and then there's your relationship with your child and your family dynamic. So it is a lot to kind of carve out time for each of those things separately.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that within like intentional communities and friendships, like a lot can also overlap for in certain seasons, and like that's okay too,
Yeah.
if
Oh,
that's
I love going to people's houses that have kids and just letting them play and like, I mean,
yeah.
I can't like have wine and smoke my weed right now, but
One day.
one day I'll do it again and it'll be great. I mean, I have some sips, like I'm a little bit of a sipper, but not like,
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about Asher, the picture you posted last night. The
oh, doing
cutest,
the little
involving your kids and oh, the best.
the Doppler. I can't wait for him to like be at the birth.
Oh my gosh, is he gonna be there?
Well, of course. I mean, I'm doing it at home. Where else would he be?
Oh, I love that.
I
So
wonder what he's gonna. I remember thinking when I gave birth to him that the Chihuahuas would really freak out,
yeah. Well,
and they were so into it.
I'm all about kids at birth, but Jonathan and I talk about in the future, and we're like, if anyone would traumatize a child, it'd be me, because watching me give birth is not like watching anyone else give birth.
Yeah, but your second one will be so much easier.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Johanna, my midwife, said usually second child is half the time or less.
Yeah, no, I mean, in my experience, it's usually a lot easier,
Yeah.
and I've had quite a bit that are not.
I'm banking on like 3 hours.
And shorter sometimes can be like more intense, like
Right.
faster, and so there's less of like time for you to be like, I'm in the flow, and so it's great because it's like over sooner, but you can like drop in. But Asher's at a great age where how old will he be?
Like almost two.
almost two. Yeah, I think he's at a really great age. He'll be like super aware and understanding, but you could also like easily distract him elsewhere without like him
I
being
feel like
paid.
he's gonna want to like be on me, which is probably the only part that I'm gonna have to deal with.
Yeah, and I think like planning for a plan B, and like that's what I always say to my clients who with kids is just like you don't know how you're gonna feel or what you're gonna want, and sometimes you want them right there, and just holding them is so helpful. And you also need to like honor whatever the baby, you obviously, but then like this baby whose birth it is
Right
needs are, and so just like a friend or whatever who can be like,
there. Well, Jess is gonna come,
oh,
so then that'll be that.
yeah,
He loves her.
oh,
I know. I
she
feel like when I
last
gave
time
birth
she
the
was
first
sick,
time,
right?
yeah, she was sick. She was on my list of calls, but she was ill. It was so sad. But I told her, I've been telling everyone like when I gave birth the first time, I was almost like so naive that I had no fear.
Yeah,
I was like, it's gonna be awesome. Like
it is. Yeah, go ahead.
this time, I'm like, a birth is insane.
No, I totally relate. And I'll never, I once doulaed for a, I think about her all the time. I doulaed for a mom who was her having her sixth baby. And I kept being like, oh my gosh, like you, and I wasn't a mom at the time. So I remember like she'd ask questions. And I'd be like, oh, well, like you've done it so many times. And I guess like I could feel like she had fear and this. And I'd be like, oh, well, you're a pro, like six home births. And I remember she just like one time looked at me because I kept kind of like brushing off all of like, oh, wait. And she was like, every time is different. Like
Yeah,
every time is intent. And I was like, oh my gosh. And now as a mom, I'm like, holy shit, I think about her all the time because I'm like, it's after six, like imagine that building six times. Like you're so deeply humbled every time
totally.
that you can't go the first time, no matter how prepared you are, no matter how worried you are, all the things, you go in with an ignorance is bliss.
Yeah,
Like, or
and
just an
it worked.
ignorance
It
of
worked
it.
for me.
Yes. That, and then I work with a lot of moms, helping them like approach birth, releasing a lot of this fear and a lot of the conditioning we have around it, which is great. And I think that's like my life's work. And there's like this real gift of like kind of it being the mystery. And
Mhm.
each time is so different, but yeah, can totally relate where you're like walking the plank the second time and you're like, okay, like I am signing up to do this again.
Like, what's wrong with me?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Like people keep asking me, "Are you gonna give birth unmedicated at home again?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there's no other." Like in my mind, like there's no other way.
Yes, and somebody, I know we're going over time, but I just talked to you forever. Somebody said this to me the other day in I did my partner session class, and they were like, "Is birth, is like the pain of birth traumatizing for a mom?" And I was giving my long answer to that, which I won't give now, but what I did end up saying, and I was like, my birth, if you saw it from the outside, you would have been like, this is the most traumatizing thing in the world. I was so outwardly expressive around the intensity of it.
Yeah,
But for me, my definition of that, my reflection of it, my experience of it was the farthest thing from dramatic.
yeah, I feel the same.
The whole time I was saying I'm dying, like kill me, But it was the best. And like I think for them to hear that I was like, yeah, and I would choose that exact situation again the second time is hard for people to like understand, but that the trauma of birth and the hardship of birth, um, I think for most it's not in what's felt or the experience of physiological birth, it's in how you're treated.
Yeah, totally.
Like the support that surrounds you and the sovereignty that you have in making that choice and signing up to meet that intensity
Yep.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it's not. I get the same question, and for me, it's like, A, like I don't. I remember the event. I've watched my video, so like I know it happened, but like my body isn't like holding trauma.
No, because it was fully like integrated in the moment.
Yeah,
Yeast and like moved through us. Um, yeah, it's like my birth was the least traumatic. And like to me, that's like the farthest thing from birth trauma you can have is how I think of my birth. And if you watched me, you would be traumatized. So,
so good. Okay, I love you so much.
I
This is
love
so
you.
fun. Thank you for doing this.
Huh.
And people can find your class at carson.schmeyer.com, right?
Yes, and the book is
And
growing together.
all the things. She has Growing Together, she has her line, she has her recommendations. I mean, an incredible resource for all. What's that?
What's up?
Hello? It's mom arm.
Oh,
An incredible resource for just all things in this whole universe. Love you so
thanks.
much.
I love you.
Okay.
Mwah.
Mwah.